I find that we often don't give kids and teenagers enough credit for really having a rich inner world. They have a lot going on. They're noticing a lot of society. Their view of the world and of themselves is developing younger and younger. And I think it's really important to discuss it. As a parent, it's really important to know this. So today we're going to do that. We're going to talk about the rich inner world of children, why it's important to know, why it's going to be even better for you to know for your motherhood. And also, we are going to look at my own diary from when I was 13 years old, so we can get a sense of, what was younger Emily thinking about. So first, hi, my name is Emily. I'm a therapist in private practice. In therapy, I support moms who are burned out and overwhelmed so that they can heal and build better relationships with their partner and their children. And then I also offer mentorship to moms who want to slow down and live a different way outside of the hustle. But yeah, today let's talk about this. Now it's a different style of video. It's a phone video today. It's a bit busy for me in my life right now, and I've got vacation coming up. And I just felt pulled to make this video. So we're just going to flow with it and hope it's okay. So yeah, often I find that our view of children kind of goes in two different ways. And I would say that I noticed this, just from being a child, but I also worked with children, like younger children, a lot of 8-year-olds. And then also like I specialized with 12 to 16-year-olds when I was working at an agency for children. And we often view children in two ways. One is they're children and they don't really know nothing and they don't really have a life and they don't have anything to worry about. Or two, we see them as mini adults, right? And we kind of like, oftentimes we minimize their experience or their problems, but they've got a lot going on. They are also part of society. There's a lot of social stuff going on in schools, and being a kid is really hard, and being a kid in this day and age is even harder. Sometimes I think as adults, we forget what it was like to be a child, what it was like to be a teenager. And when we do forget that, I think that's when we kind of have a disconnect with our own children. So, oftentimes when I would have meetings between my client who is maybe a young teenager or a preteen and the mom or the father, there was like a disconnect of understanding why that child might be depressed, suicidal, anxious. And then when I would put it in different words for the parent to understand, they would get it more. Sometimes it's making, I'd have to make references to their own life to kind of create an understanding. But sometimes it's just bringing people back to what was it like to be a teenager or a young person, when you were young. Did you, ever have self-doubts about who you were, about how you looked? Did you worry all the time that your friends wouldn't be your friends? Because let's be honest, back then, it could be like 1 week your best friend is Rebecca, the next week Rebecca hates your guts because you're talking to Victoria. That still goes on. And I think it's even worse now with technology, right? Because now we can also like message each other like, you suck and all that. So it's really freaking hard. And then the added pressure of trying to discover who you are is difficult. And what I found when I did therapy with children is that around the age, so they could come in later, but what I found a lot was around the age of 12, especially like the girls started coming in. Their parents would be like, I don't know what's wrong with my daughter. She has turned into a she demon overnight and I don't know what's going on. When in reality, it's like your kid is getting opinionated. They're having their own thought processes and they're questioning, they're questioning things, which is, I think it's okay, but we forget that like they're humans. They are humans with thought processes and their own lives going on, and they're not just extensions of ourselves. They're not just extensions of their parents. They are their own people. And when we can recognize that they are their own people that have their own worries and pressures and all that, I think the more that we can actually empathize with them. Because when we don't view them in this way, it's very hard to empathize with them. So how do we do that? Because it's really hard sometimes to get your kid to talk to you. And I understand that you're not always, or you might not currently be the safe person to talk to. Maybe you're the fixer. Maybe you tend to overreact. That happens. What we need to do, I think, first is if we can start understanding how the problems that our children are having are real, they are valid, I think it's the first part of empathy. What I often say, because I work a lot with women, what I often say to those who have children who come to them with their issues, and then it ends with a fight, let's say, I often say that when you go to your partner when something goes bad, what do you look for? Do you look for solutions? Are you looking for your solutions? Are you looking for, just support? Like, what are you looking for? And more often than not, they're not looking for solutions. They're only looking for support. And that is what your children need too. They don't need for you to fix their problems. They don't need for you to give advice. They don't need for you to judge the decisions that they've made. They need your support. You need to be their safe place, especially as, I'm going to say for girls often, because a lot of, sometimes we have difficulties with, a lot of the clients that I've worked with in the past were teenage girls. So that's why I have that understanding a bit better. But especially for girls, they're not only just like growing into like teenagers and adults, they're also going through this world as a woman, right? And we all know that there are a lot of different pressures put on, when our gender is female compared to when our gender is male. So they are grappling with a lot more things, hormones too. It's a lot. So we need that compassion, we need that understanding, and we need to be that safe place. And it's really hard. I won't lie to you, but it's so important. And building that connection is key. And I've had many moms that I've worked with who have come to me because, they want to build better connections with their children. And through what I'm sharing with you right now, by showing compassion, by just being present, by showing more understanding and empathy, now they're the person that their child will go to talk to. Now they are the person that their child will seek comfort in. And that is what you want. Because when your child can seek comfort in you, they will also seek for help. Because there's nothing worse than like your child goes to you for something and you try and fix it and they're like, leave me alone. And then they never tell you anything else again. So we really want to create a safe place. So let's talk about a 13-year-old. That 13-year-old being me, little Emily. I didn't write a lot in my journals back in the day. So I don't have tons of journals. I have friends who have like tons. I only have a few. But when I was thinking about this, I was going through some of my journals and I was like, oh my God, Emily, like I'd be worrying that I was never going to find love. It was 2005, June 2005. And I'm like, I'm never going to find love. I'm never going to have somebody to love me. It's like, girl, you're 13. Calm down. But literally, I felt like I was unlovable. Okay. Another thing that I found that I find like a lot of moms that I work with, they have children sometimes. Just since the pandemic, a lot of children who have social anxiety. One of the things I wrote here is I'm nervous for tomorrow because it's athlétisme, which is like a day of sports kind of thing at school. And I'm scared of looking stupid in front of everyone. And I can't remember writing this, but I remember viscerally the feeling of always fearing I would look stupid in front of my peers. Still kind of have it, not so much now. But when I was a kid, I hated gym class. I hated, days where you could just like do whatever you want and like play around. I'm like, well, what if people don't like me? What if they don't want to hang out with me? What if I'm a bouche-trou? Like in French, it's like a bouche-trou, which means like I'm just somebody they plug in the hole because they don't have anybody else. Like I'm just like a filler person, a filler friend. I was afraid of being a filler friend. So a lot of our children have these thoughts too. And it starts so young because I remember working with, 7-year-olds. And they were already telling me that they were afraid of being judged by their peers. And the bullying also, it starts pretty young. So recognize that, when they're saying that they're scared of going to school, they're scared of being judged by others. Like, it's actually, like, it's in their heart. Like, they are terrified of this. And I was speaking to someone one day, and I was talking about how sometimes for some people, school is not safe. Sometimes school is a safe place because home isn't safe. But for a lot of children who have like social anxiety, school is not safe. Not just like bullying wise, although that could be it, but also mental health wise. Okay, I just found another excerpt. Well, I found 2 excerpts from here that I could cry. August 28th, 2005. I'm so fat, it's crazy. My mom says I should exercise, but with what? Where? And I won't have any time because I'm always babysitting. And I'll just regain the weight anyway. I used to have such... God, I was so mean to myself. I used to call myself fat, ugly, all the time. The next thing after this is, I suck at singing. Everyone says I'm good, but they're just being nice. And besides, I have 2 ears, and I know I sound bad, but I still love to sing. Why? Why am I writing that to myself? Like, why am I... August 29th, 2005. The first day of school is always the scariest. Will it look all right? Will I settle in quickly? And will the classes be very hard? Just a lot of worrying. I was always worrying. I was always worried and overthinking everything. I still am an overthinker, but like it was really bad when I was a kid. Oh, I was reading like one from 2010. Oh, not reading that one either because that one's about an ex. Anyway, going back down memory lane, what has it told me? I had a lot of emotions going on as a teenager, preteen. I was, not sure about many things. Very insecure in myself. So insecure. Insecure about my weight, insecure about my hair. Like a lot of inserts in there that were in French, that were like, oh, your hair is ugly, you never look good, you should just straighten it all the time. Like I had a lot of, or a lot of like, I thought I looked good and then I saw a really pretty girl and now I feel like I look like a bag of garbage. Like that's what I'm telling myself as a child. So I'm writing these things, but like I'm only writing sometimes, which means that the rest of the time these thoughts are still going on, but they're just in my head when I was 13. So your kids might be feeling this way too. And so I encourage you to, the point of this video, not only to embarrass me, but the point of this video is to like shed light on the fact that kids go through a lot. And as parents, especially as mothers, the more that we can recognize that kids have their rich inner world, that they go through their own stuff, that they have their own problems, and that we don't need to fix them, but we do need to support them. That's what's going to help you build a really good relationship with your children. Sometimes I find that as our children get older, especially when they become like preteens and then teens, we can feel like disconnected from them, like their friends take the place of us in their lives. So instead of coming to us for help, they go to their friends for help. But if you become a safe place to talk to, a safe person to talk to, you become that secure base that they will come to. So like what I found is as a therapist, many times I became that secure base for children where I would talk to them, I would support them, I would be their empathetic ear. And then from that, they were able to go out in the world and do their thing. However, as a parent, that's your job to be that secure base. And if you can manage your own emotions and be present for your children in their experience without trying to solve problems, unless they're obviously asking you for a solution, if you can just be that person for them, that empathetic ear, that safe place, that confidant, you are going to find that your relationships really do improve. And so, yeah, how do you improve relationships with your children? Manage your own emotions and just be present, and recognize that they got shit going on and that shit's real. Yeah, so that's today's video. If you don't mind, I'm going to go crawl in a hole because I totally found photos I put in here of my crush and oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. You should see how I wrote the spelling, the grammar, Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was really off the cuff and laid back. I'll see you in the next one. Keep living your authentic life. Bye.